on Venus, most of the carbon is in the atmosphere. The difference is that on Earth, the average temperature is around 50 degrees, whereas on Venus, it is around 850 degrees. Not just because it's slightly closer to the sun. Mercury is the closest to the sun and is around 3 times cooler than Venus.
All life on Earth faces an existential threat from a rapidly warming planet. How soon we act will determine the severity of the situation. The biggest threat to our planet's survival is climate change. The effects of rising global temperatures include massive crop and fishery collapses, the extinction of hundreds of thousands of species, and entire towns becoming uninhabitable if we do not limit greenhouse gas emissions from fossil fuel burning. Even though some of these outcomes may still be preventable, climate change is already causing pain and fatalities. The cascading effects, such as wildfires and intensified storms, are still felt today, often right outside our windows. Understanding these effects will help us prepare and safeguard communities for what is already here, what can be avoided, and what is still to come. Those living in the world's poorest countries, who have contributed the least to the problem, are the most vulnerable to climate change. They are heavily reliant on a healthy, functioning natural environment for food and income, yet they have the fewest financial resources to respond to crises or adapt. Similarly, communities of color and those with lower incomes in the United States are often the most affected by climate change. Decision makers must address the interconnected challenges of climate change and rising inequality, and we must all advocate for climate justice. Widespread changes in weather patterns due to rising global temperatures are making natural disasters such as hurricanes, floods, and droughts more severe and unpredictable. Severe weather events that may have occurred only once in our grandparents' lives are happening more frequently today. However, not all areas are affected equally. For instance, climate change may increase the likelihood of floods in some regions while causing severe drought in others. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, estimates that the Earth has warmed by 1.1 degrees Celsius, 1.9 degrees Fahrenheit, since the pre-industrial era began 250 years ago. Experts warn that if we do not address the root causes of climate change, which includes the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas, global temperatures could rise by up to 4 degrees Celsius, 7.2 degrees Fahrenheit, by the year 2100. This seemingly small but significant rise in average global temperature could lead to more intense heat waves every summer. Meteorologists are increasingly linking streaks of record-breaking hot days to long-term trends, which is particularly concerning in areas where housing and infrastructure were not designed to handle escalating heat. Heat waves not only cause discomfort, but are also the leading cause of weather-related deaths in the United States. Warmer temperatures accelerate the rate at which water vapor escapes the atmosphere, resulting in more severe and widespread droughts. The American West is currently experiencing a catastrophic mega-drought, the driest recorded in at least 1,200 years. This 22-year drought is reducing the availability of drinking water, damaging crops, and increasing the risk of insect infestations in forests. Drought can create a positive feedback loop, as drier soil and reduced plant cover lead to even more rapid evaporation. Ecosystems are being disrupted by climate change from the tropics to the poles. Even a small temperature shift can significantly impact ecosystems and food webs. The poles, which are the coldest regions on Earth, are where the effects of climate change are most pronounced. The Arctic is warming twice as quickly as any other area, leading to the rapid melting of northern ice sheets and glaciers, which hold vast amounts of water. When sea ice melts, it exposes darker ocean waters that absorb more sunlight, creating a positive feedback loop that accelerates the melting process. Experts predict that the Arctic could experience no summer ice at all in as little as 15 years. If we don't reduce emissions, scientists warn that sea levels could rise by up to 6.6 feet by the end of the century, due to melting sea ice and glaciers, as well as the volume expansion of warmer water. Low-lying areas, including island nations and heavily populated coastal cities like New York City and Mumbai, would be devastated by the extent and speed of this transformation. Even at much lower levels, sea level rise is costly, hazardous,